Chris Maxwell of the Sports Philanthropy Network, here with former WWE Diva and the current media personality for BYB Extreme Bareknuckle Boxing, Danielle Moinet. Danielle, it is so nice to meet you and be here with you because we don't have a lot in common as
No.
far as your background goes. We got one little thing.
Yes.
One little thing.
BYB.
BYB.
You left and I took your job.
Exactly. I
But I didn't take it from you.
I was replaced, but I think they found a great talent in you. It's been such a joy watching you cover this sport, but it's obviously very different from your time at WWE. So, what was the most jarring difference between these two combat sports?
I think having to learn the gambling side of it, like we can't gamble on WWE, and I'm not like a big Vegas person, so when the odds would come out, I'm like, so who do we like here? Like what's going on? So now I have that down, and then just boxing in general, like with wrestling, that's my niche, and with the combos and walking people down and all the lingo. The first couple fights, I would sit with the fighters and they would just talk to me and I would ask questions. And then after a while, I just kind of got the hang of it. But I think embracing the fact that I didn't know helps. I love to fake it till you make it, but you can't really fake boxing. So just asking good questions and knowing that everyone wanted to help me was important.
One of the things that I loved about BYB in my short time there is a lot of these fighters, they come from really crazy backgrounds, like rough backstories, to where in most other industries, they never really have that second chance. And yet they're able to use this sport to really turn their life around.
Yeah.
So, what is one of the more inspiring stories that you've heard from the fighters on the BYB roster?
That's something I didn't expect. And I told my mom, I didn't expect to become friends with a lot of the fighters. And then also like be so involved in their story. One guy was homeless when he came in. We were in Tampa, so I think in May he was homeless. He was living in his car. So I was like, "Oh, my money's on him. Like when your back is against the wall, he's going to win." He did win, and then fast forward to maybe a month ago, he was fighting again. So in interviews, I asked before the fight, I was like, we saw you 6 months ago, and he just got his first apartment, and like life was really great. And his daughter was a big wrestling fan, and I'm like biting my tongue physically, trying not to cry in interviews. I'm like, how it's all men in that room. And I'm like, how are you guys not crying? Like he was homeless 6 months ago. Now he's turned his life around. So that was the part I didn't expect to get attached or like physically moved by a lot of their stories.
There's some fighters on this roster that I watch because working in the combat sports space, you hear the big names in MMA, you hear the big names in boxing.
Yeah.
You don't hear a lot about these bare knuckle fighters,
Yeah.
and you should, because there's one name in particular that comes to mind she's crushing it. That's Jamie Driver.
Yes.
She is such a wonderful fighter, great personality, and she's one of those people, at least in my mind, who's like really driving the brand.
Yeah.
And as a woman in that sport, like that is truly the blood sport of all the combat sports. What's it like being with these women who are so scary, so fierce, but so kind?
When I first started, I was like, I just wanted to ask every woman why they do it. I'm like, why? There's so many. I mean, I remember when I played football for Lingerie Football League. We had Mike Ditka come, and his first question to us was, "You ladies, why are you doing this?" He's like, "You all are beautiful and have like we had police officers that did it on their time off and moms and all this stuff." And he was like, "Why?" And we're like, "We just want a creative outlet. We're just like competitive." So for the women, it boggles my mind because their faces are just completely mangled, but they're really hardcore. So Jamie's great. She has the personality, she has good looks, and she understands marketing too. Like she understands the social media side of it, where I think a lot of the other guys just want to fight. They're like, I just want to fight. And I'm like, well, that's great, but then you're not a draw as well. Like you need to, tell a story, like send in your B-roll. How many people don't want to send in their B-roll, so we can't like promote them. So it's like Jamie understands the whole package. Her dad is amazing. Like he's super sassy, and he came in the ring when she just won, and he said something like, I was going to cut off her bills. I was cutting off financially supporting her, so she had to win, like something funny. So yeah, she's cool. The women are very amazing over at BYB.
And BYB season is still in full swing. It never ends. There's always an event. What's the next event? How can people watch?
Yeah, February 22nd in Denver. And if you go to BYB.com, you can see all of the places that you can watch the pay-per-views.
And of course, this is the Sports Philanthropy Network, and we're all about great causes. And while you help tell the great stories of these athletes, there's also another cause on here that you are advocating for. What did you write on your wall philanthropy card?
So I wrote mental health because I think that everyone deserves a fair shot at life. And I think due to your childhood or, past things that happen in your past that it may hinder you. You may have anxiety. I have anxiety. Some people may have depression, and being able to talk about that, finding a safe space where you can get better and have that fair chance of life once you get it handled is really important.
Well, that has been a huge topic here on Radio Row at the Media Center for the Super Bowl mental health. And it is so great. I'm sure you've noticed it too, just seeing all of these like big, tough men be so
talk about it.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
And finally open about it and get rid of the stigma. So
Yeah.
appreciate you advocating for it as well. You can add it to our wall of philanthropy right behind you.
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being with us here on the Sports Philanthropy Network. Good luck with the remainder of the BYB fights happening
you.
this year. And I will continue watching you and fangirling over you.
Same.
You know, I used to have her job.
It's so good to finally meet you.
Yes, you as well. Thank you so much, Danielle.
Thank you.